build up your career as a freelancer. Have you ever thought about it? Hey, not everybody want to work for a company. A lot of people want to work independently, so why not consider the freelancer option? I have a very special guest today who did this transition from working in a company to work nowadays as a freelancer. So she's gonna share all her experience and her secrets with you. Today I'm here with Patricia and we are friends. I know a bit of her personal and professional history, but can you share a bit about you, introduce yourself, and let people know how did you do this transition from working in a company to working as a freelancer?
Mm-hmm. So I'm Patricia. I'm a translator, a freelancer translator, but I'm also a PhD student in communications. So I actually built a career in the communications field, media studies and film industry and broadcasting. And at some point I worked for several companies.
But there was one company that was the last one, right? That you worked.
Yeah, the last
Which
one,
kind of company was it?
It was actually an NGO.
NGO, okay.
And I would do all sorts of media. I would create media content, basically.
Okay. How long were you working there? In total?
For 2 years, I guess.
2 years, okay. And at that time, you were working in this NGO, you had to go there to the office every day?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, like in the beginning, I had to go to the office every day.
But then what started happening?
What happened was, I guess, first of all, I never quite fit the going to the office 9 to 5 thing.
Okay.
So I was lucky enough to have a boss who saw that and understood that a little.
Okay.
And she suggested me, she was actually the first one to suggest me to work from home part of the week.
Okay.
I guess in the beginning it was like a couple of days in the week. And then it started to be the whole week. And then at some point I only had to go there once a week.
Okay.
So it was completely, almost completely
remote already,
and home-based.
And that's funny because you didn't ask for that. It kind of happened naturally, right? You were going to the office every day and then step by step, you start going less days, maybe 3 days per week, 2 days, and at the end you're going 1 day. So sometimes those career transitions, they just happen naturally, right?
Yeah.
Some people look for them and try to get them, but in your case, it started happening slowly, and you enjoyed that. You liked it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I at the time I was enjoying the work I was doing, but at some point it stopped being challenging for me. Although I had lots of freedom, especially creative freedom. And actually, I have a problem with people telling me what to do.
Okay, so if you have the same problem, if you don't like people telling what to do, you are not alone. There are more people like that. Okay.
Yeah, so I had this boss, and she was very nice and comprehensive, but at some point, there's a certain limit that you can go being inside a company, because at some point, you have to follow instructions.
And you didn't want to follow instructions anymore.
Yeah, more or less. And but then again, I had lots of freedom, like creating the content I was creating, and but at some point it reached more or less
limit.
of a saturation point, I would say.
Okay.
Regarding the things that I could create inside the company, so it started to get a little frustrating.
Okay, that's interesting because it was a creative job.
Yes.
You had the freedom to work from home most of the time, but still there was something missing for you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure some people from the outside could say, oh, Patricia, you have the perfect job, right? You can work from home, it's an ONG, you like the sector, you can bring your ideas, but still there was something missing. So I think it's important that we identify the key elements for us, because nobody else can make this decision from us, right? If you are not happy with the job, with the career, if there is something missing for you, first of all, identify that. recognize that? Because you could be there until now with this feeling of there is something missing, and you wouldn't be happy, but you didn't do that. You were brave enough to make a change, right?
And it's interesting because they kept raising my salary.
Okay,
Like,
to keep you there.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like they could see I wasn't happy, and they kept like trying to keep me happy.
I'm gonna increase your salary. Okay.
Exactly.
So it
I'll
was
let you
not
work
about
from home.
Yeah,
and
yeah, they
things
would
like
try that.
Yeah.
So it was not about home. It was not about money.
It wasn't.
No.
It never
Okay.
was.
Even getting more salary, you were decided to make a change.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Did you have clarity about which was the next step?
No, I had no idea.
Okay.
No.
You just knew you're not happy in that context.
Yeah, I had no idea. I only realized that the kind of jobs that I could get in the communications field and media field
Yeah.
was not the type of job that would make me happy, because usually there's a lot of pressure
Okay.
and not very much creative freedom. Although it's a creative job,
Sector,
it's
yeah.
creative industry, but still, and also I wanted more flexibility
Okay.
to do other things in my life, such as traveling,
Okay.
but also other things.
Yeah.
And I realized that I would not be able to get that.
In that sector, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because some people think that before they make the next move, they have to know exactly what they're going for. Like, I have everything planned, I know exactly the next sector, the next job, but you didn't know that. You recognize that you're not happy with what you're doing. You knew the elements that were not making you happy, like lack of creativity, and you couldn't combine that with other things that were important to you, such as traveling. So you first kind of took a deep picture of the current situation, and you said, that's not for me, I'm done. I'm not happy with that anymore. Okay. So how did you actually made the next step? Because at that point you didn't know exactly what to go for, but you made a move.
Yeah, actually, like I said, I had no idea what I was going to do next. I just knew that I didn't want to be in that job anymore.
Yeah.
And at some point, I was looking for another job, yes.
Okay. In another company.
Yeah, in other companies, but also the sector was a little, in a crisis, so
Okay.
to speak. So there were a lot of jobs available at that time. And so I switched to another type of job, which is translation.
Okay.
Because, I needed money, although I said that it wasn't about the salary, but at some point you need to pay your bills.
Yes.
So I started doing translation, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
I mean, a lot.
Okay, but let's make a pause here. How did you go from working in an NGO in a completely different salary to translator? That's like totally different area.
Yeah.
So how did you, what motivates you to make this big change? You ended up loving it, but how did you decide, I'm going to do translation from now on?
Yeah, it was like, in the beginning it was just to get by.
Like a
before
side job. Okay.
A side hustle. It was totally a side hustle.
Okay.
Before I could find something else.
Okay.
But then I started enjoying it a lot, loving it, and also I started making money.
Okay.
And most importantly, for me, I had complete freedom to do what I wanted, when I wanted, at the time I wanted.
That was one thing you were missing before, right?
Yeah, and that's so important to me, like so important to, of course you need discipline, and we will talk about that in a while. But for me it's so important to be able to do what I want at the time I want. So I decide what I'm going to do.
I love it. So you started doing a side job, like the translation, not really thinking or not sure if this was going to be the thing.
Yes.
But the more you do it, the more you did it, the more you liked it, and the money start coming through that. And you quit the job in the NGO. In which moment? You quit before, and then you start doing the translation before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And translation came
After you quit the job. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you had the flexibility. That is something very important to you, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned the discipline. So what is the importance of discipline in this process? Why did you mention this specific term?
Yeah, I guess one important thing for me was to realize that I could make money without having to compromise so much. Because before I was, well, making some money, of course, but then I had to compromise a lot.
What do you mean by compromise?
Like,
Don't be available to travel.
yeah,
Don't be able to
things
meet
like
friends
that.
for
Yeah,
lunch,
exactly.
to
Like
improvise.
the things that you have to put away,
Okay.
so you can, you know, work from Monday to Friday, etc. And at some point, I saw in the translation work, apart from all the creative part, which I love, but then I could, you know, still have a life and build the life I wanted, the lifestyle I wanted, without, you know, not
Say
making
no
money.
to other things. Okay.
Yeah.
So the money was there, the flexibility, the creative part was also there. Okay.
It's it's complete for me. Translation, it's complete. I
Has
have
all the
everything
elements.
I need.
Okay. So back to the discipline, because to get all the elements that were important for you, you said that discipline was a key thing in the process. So what are you talking about when you say discipline? Why is it that important?
Yeah, because in the beginning I was so happy about being able to do what I wanted at the time I wanted, that you know, I'm not a very disciplined person, I would say. Like I can be very organized, but then of course at some point you cannot just wake up at the time that you want and just work you know, one day a week and then do nothing.
Okay.
I mean, it is possible, but then you have to organize yourself first to be able to do this kind of thing. I mean, of course, for me it's very important to be able to have a coffee with a friend on a Wednesday afternoon, for example.
That's why you made all this change, right? Because
Exactly.
you didn't have this flexibility and all of that. But it
Yes.
comes with the discipline.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But because to do that, to be able to do that, I realized, like, with time, in the beginning it was very, very difficult.
Okay.
Both working too much, which can happen because you don't have a schedule.
Yeah.
Well, you have to build your own schedule.
You create it.
Otherwise, you work from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. So and that's not healthy at all.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, you're not productive. At some point, you stop being productive. So you need a very good. You need organization skills and discipline.
Yes.
Some kind of discipline, so you can.
Balance that.
Exactly, that's the word.
Yeah, and that's funny because you had all the elements you were looking for in the job, but still it was difficult at the beginning, as you said, right? Yeah, so it's not just about creating the job or finding the job, but once you have it, then you need to organize yourself to make things happen, you know? So it's not about, okay, I'm done. No, you're not done. You're just starting. That's when you have to create this discipline, your schedule and all of that. And you said that you realized that with time. You noticed the importance of that with time. Okay.
Yeah, because in the beginning I was working a lot and like too much. And then I realized that with some organization, I would not have to work that much. I mean, I don't have to work 10 hours, 8 hours straight. I can work less hours, but be more productive.
Okay.
And also mix it with other things that I would like to do. But then I would need that discipline. I mean, especially because I'm a freelancer.
Yeah.
So I work in gigs, basically. I don't have like a continuous stream of work.
Yeah.
And that
so there are peaks that you're working more, others that you're working less. Okay.
And
it
also
varies
and also I work on projects and with deadlines.
Okay.
So I need to meet deadlines in order to do other things.
So it's not that you're completely free. I think that's something that people can think, oh, if I work as a freelancer, I'm completely free. Not exactly, because you still have the deadlines for your clients that you have to meet. Have you ever considered being a freelancer? Is this something completely new and unexpected for you? Or are you already working as a freelancer? Please leave in the comments below which is your current job situation. And I would love to hear that, because I know there are people transitioning, people that were a freelancer and they decide to go back to a office job. So all those movements, they can happen, right? We are alive, things change, our circumstances change, and we can change with that too. If you could share one tip for people that are considering, thinking about being a freelancer, but they are kind of afraid of make this move, so what would you suggest to people? One tip from you for people that are considering to being a freelancer.
Well, I would say don't be afraid of trying something new.
Okay.
If you think that could be for you, so try it, and then if it doesn't work, you can always come back to the office job or not, and maybe you find that you love it and you do it forever.
Just like it happened to you, right?
Yeah.
If you don't try, you're never gonna know. So she didn't know before, and now you love what you do. So let's give it a try to enjoy what we do. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for sharing your experience, and all the best in your freelancer journey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is Career to Go, a YouTube channel designed to help you, freelancer or employer for a company, to be happy in what you do, to improve your career. Every week, a new video. So please follow us and see you soon.